Next, we'll see the second question. Whose answer sheet is this? The question is like this: microfinance as an anti-poverty vaccine is aimed at asset creation security at the rural poor in India. Evaluate the role of SHGs in achieving the twin objectives of along with women empowerment in rural India. Don't you find similarity between first and second question? How many of you are finding similarity in the first and second question? It is just like the question is reframed and the emphasis is on microfinance in this particular aspect. But even there, what was the role of NABARD? It was granting loans to SHGs. Again, it's part of microfinance. And here also it is asking you about the twin objectives. What are the twin objectives? Poverty mitigation also is one of the objectives. Or am I making sense? Are you guys able to appreciate that there is some element of continuity between first and second question? Yes. So what you need,
Yes, sir.
What you need to do is, if you remember, most of you have attended my history classes where we have done question answers through and then some of you have attended my politics also. What we are trying to understand there is the demand of the question is just being rephrased by emphasis on certain aspect of the scheme or the particular SHG here. What is happening is SHG is a very standard thing. The impact of SHG or the impacts on SHG to take it to next level is something which is being emphasized time and again. Okay. In that aspect, so what is the framework for this question? Okay, Navya has given certain framework. Others? What is the framework for this question? Just giving the question. See the second question and give me the framework. Microfinance as an anti-poverty vaccine is aimed at asset creation. Okay, asset creation, security of rural poor in India. So that's a statement. Evaluate the role of SHGs in achieving the twin objectives along with women empowerment. So what are the twin objectives they are referring to here? Please understand the question first.
Asset creation and security of the rural poor.
Yes. Yes. See, the main challenge in mains examination is to understand these kind of questions in 30 to 40 seconds. So let's not, why I don't concentrate much on answers is, we generally have a tendency to jump into answers. Array, okay, question is there, let's write answer. What will you write is the major thing. All are your serious aspirants studying for 18 to 24 months. No one is having any depth of content. Ranker 1 and ranker 300 will have same content. Even this thing I'm trying to say on record, because I've seen everyone right from rank 1 to 300 in the close quarters. So we all know what is the knowledge level of each other. So knowledge wise, everyone is on the same platform, especially people who are writing mains, serious mains, and after mains to interview. But the major thing what people with so-called single digit or double digit ranks must have done properly is understood the demand of the question, make a proper framework and write relevant content and then come out of that question. That you need to practice like a robot. Day in, day out, day in, day out, day in, day out. So much so that I still say that in the 3 hours of the mains examination, there is very little effort of your mind, because by the time your mind memory is very much there. Okay, so for this type of questions, especially social justice and development, current affairs oriented and challenging subjects, because in history or polity, what is article 14, there is only so much, so that you have to understand that question. When was the first battle of Panipat? You have to only understand the question to that extent and just modify the content. But here the demand is only to, the challenge is to first understand the question. They are asking you twin objectives. What are the twin objectives? Twin objectives are income security and poverty mitigation. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So when you understand this demand of the question, and then the third part of the question is empowering women. So obviously this has to be a 250 marker to my knowledge, because the question is asking you various facets or various dimensions. Okay. Then you can start off by a 3 or 4 lines or maximum 5 lines of introduction. Then come to the role of uh, micro role in the income security, role in asset creation, and then the final role in women empowerment. And obviously the role of women empowerment will be the same as the first question. Okay, income security again is a kind of same of the content of the first question. And then you can write about the asset creation, because the question is asking you for the asset creation, how SHGs have gone on to create a lot of assets. You can write that, and then write about women empowerment, and then conclude. Even in SHGs, you can write some sustainable development goals, because when we are claiming that 80% of the SHGs are being handled by women, so gender equality, gender empowerment, what all relevant SDGs are there, you can link intelligently of the SDGs to women empowerment and to SHGs, and then make a wonderful conclusion, so that your question and your approach will look very holistic. So when you go one step backward, you expand your horizon of the answer, and without deviating from the core demand of the question, when you include appropriate points, such approach will be highly rewarded in the mains. That's what I'm saying. You should not overdo anything. You should come back one step and see, okay, in this particular question, what all relevant things I can, like international agreements, SDGs, national schemes, in what way I can bring them here without deviating from the core demand of the question. Okay, for SHG answer, you cannot write irrelevantly about Sukanya Samruddhi Yojana or Beti Bachao Beti Padhao, unless that becomes relevant. But then you can write some schemes like Ajivika, NRLM, and then you can bring in sustainable development goals. You can sometimes bring in, you know, how case studies. I have told you about the Lijjat Papat case study. I have told you about the Kudumbasri, Dwakra, Seva, SEWA, Seva. All these are wonderful SHG case studies. You can bring them in, or you can go and Google some SHG women who have gone on to become Sarpanch. So all these are very beautiful value additions to make your answer slightly different from how it looks for an ordinary person. Okay, when it comes to this question, you need to give a basic introduction about how microfinance, okay, is all about reaching out to the most vulnerable sections of the society and making them financially inclusive. Okay, basically microfinance targets the rural aspects, rural parts of the society where the banking sector doesn't generally grow or go, and then bring them into the formalized economy. Okay, so that the financial inclusion is ensured. Okay, and then role of this in income security, how it promotes income security. As we discussed in the previous question, it encourages saving. Okay. And then whenever they want loans, they will have access to the credit of the loans. Okay. Women can take up jobs in these SHGs, and also in some cases, women-led industries like cooperatives or some entrepreneurship is encouraged. And their incomes are assured. And by having economies of scale, they can really grow into bigger organizations. Okay. And also, because of this entire thing, the social issues are addressed, like the caste system, the discrimination, untouchability, all these are addressed. And then what is the role in asset creation? How they are going to create assets? What is an asset? Something which is very tangible in nature. They are going to create certain cooperatives which can employ more and more people. Okay, they are going to create certain companies which are going to create more and more people. They are going to create certain resources. They are going to add wealth to the economic development of the nation. And then they are going to create a social capital, which itself is an asset. And then they are going to create a human capital, which is also an asset. And then finally, have one more side heading of women empowerment. Women empowerment, it's again very social, very standard clauses or the standard things which we have. One is the having better say in the families, having financial independence. Many women are becoming entrepreneurs, thereby their overall qualification or skill is increasing. And then you can write how these women are having more literacy, because when they participate in SHGs, they are turned to make their families more literate, and they themselves also sometimes get educated. And how the political empowerment is being ensured. And you can write that you can again see in the conclusion, sometimes you can write proper quotes also. As it is said, if you educate a woman, you educate a nation. SHG as a scheme or a system has multiple angles of empowerment, and hence the need of the hour is to encourage and ensure that the engine of SHGs keeps running with proper support system and will be helpful in the overall progress and prosperity of the nation. Is it clear, Anil? So coming to your answer now. Now you just check your answer with the framework we have provided. You have given examples, Anil, but then you have missed the core demand of the question. Okay. Now just what we have discussed, you have made some content. Okay, but the content unfortunately is not directly related to the question. Okay, just work out, and I'm sure now as you do more practice, you will definitely make many good answers.